I'm calling this meeting to order. This is a special meeting of the Redmond City Council held on Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, commencing at 6:30 p.m. Council members in attendance are Councilmember Stewart, Councilmember Nueva Camina, Councilmember Salahuddin, Councilmember Forsyth, Council Vice President Forsyth, Councilmember Fields, and myself, Council President Kritzer. This special meeting is being held to interview the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee candidate, Kim Saunderson. Jackie Lawler, staff liaison, will introduce the candidate. Go ahead.
Thank you. I am pleased to introduce you to Kim Saunderson for your consideration to serve on the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, also known as the LTAC. Per state RCW, the LTAC is charged with making recommendations to the council on how to invest the lodging tax funds to attract visitors to Redmond. If approved, Mrs. Saunderson will serve her first four-year term with an expiration date of March 31, 2028. She is currently the general manager for the Residence Inn by Marriott, and Mrs. Saunderson also serves on the TPA board and has been in the hospitality industry for over 35 years. I believe Mrs. Saunderson's extensive hospitality background, TPA board position, and her willingness to serve will be a wonderful addition to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. I'll now turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for stepping up to serve. Are there questions from the council? Yeah. Well, we'll just get a question then. Any questions? Councilmember Salahuddin.
Quick question just to help us get to know you a little bit better. What interests you about being part of LTAC?
So I've been in the Redmond area in the hospitality community for a while and have been a sister property with the Redmond Marriott next door to us. And we've had a member on the LTAC committee for some time, and I actually applied for the LTAC in 2020, and we all know what happened there. So when there was an opportunity for another open position, I was interested in applying. So I'm interested in getting involved in what's happening in tourism in Redmond. It's exciting. I've been here for a while. It's exciting to see our kind of small town turn into a little city. And it's exciting to see all the possibilities.
Thank you. And would you like to add anything else about your background, just as an opening, as well as anything else about why you think you'd be a good fit for the position?
Sure. So I'm a Washington State University hotel graduate and was recruited by by Marriott International, and have worked with the Courtyard by Marriott brand in the LA area, in the San Francisco area, and in the Portland area, so all along the West Coast, and came from a military family that traveled a lot. We never lived any place for more than 2 years, so getting into the hospitality industry seemed like a great fit. I got to continue to travel. So I just love everything about seeing new cities. Have been exposed to a number of different cultures, lived overseas multiple times, and like I said, I'm excited to see what's possible, for our city. I'm really proud of the thoughtful growth, what I see as thoughtful growth in our community, and saving green spaces and parks, and it makes me want to be more invested in the community when I see kind of how responsible we've been with that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you. My question is for Ms. Layler, actually, and I apologize for only catching this as we were sitting here meeting your candidate. But we also have another member of the LTAC from a Marriott property on the LTAC. So could you address why it wouldn't be a conflict to have two Marriott properties represented on the LTAC?
Melody Lanthorn is the member you're speaking of, and she's retiring. So she'll actually be done here in about a month.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. So the position in front of us is one of the hotel positions, hotelier positions. Do you have? And then we also recently filled one. So is that? Do you have any openings?
Melody's will become open in a month. Yes. So this is a past open position, and then Melody Landthorn's position will open in a month. So we're still taking applications.
So we will have an overlap of Marriott properties, but for a very
Yes.
limited.
We don't have any meetings scheduled, though.
Okay. My second question on, because I would love to hear a little bit more from all the candidates who are also serving on that TPA board. So can you speak a little bit to what you expect your role to be here on the LTAC versus over on the TPA board?
Sure. So the TPA board is relatively new, so we've just gotten started with that. I was pleased to see that the tourism strategic plan passed. I think that was an important element. And while these two organizations are separate, I think they have an opportunity to work together in many ways. I think it's important that there's cross-communication, and if I can help be part of that. I think that it's important that now that we do have this plan, this guideline of where we are headed, that that we're communicating in a way that we can support each other to have kind of more bang for our buck, so to speak, between the two organizations, to ensure that we're properly investing in tourism in our city. So I know there are different, I'm not as familiar with the LTAC. I'm familiar with a little bit just in what I've read about it and what I've heard from members that have previously on the committee. So I too will be learning, I think, when I get on the committee. But I lead with with fiscal responsibility in mind and with data and measurements. So I think it's important with whatever we do is that we're properly gathering the right data to measure whether or not we're meeting the results that we want to meet.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Saunderson. And Ms. Layler, will we have, following Ms. Saunderson's appointment, will we have 3 total LTAC members who are also TPA members?
This will, oh, yes, for 1 month. Yes, and then there will only be 2 once Melody leaves. Correct.
And how many members of the LTAC are there?
There's 7 members of the LTAC. 3 are hoteliers. 3 are usually event producers, but it can be anybody who can use the tax to their benefit. And then we have a chair.
So moving forward, we would have 2 positions that overlap as we currently do. I'm just discovering this all in the moment, as you can all see, but I'm just elevating it for us, the body, because this is an opportunity that we have with the LTAC. So, and the TPA, as we've been discussing, is new. They are related, but they are different bodies. And while I appreciate interconnectedness and the communication between the two, I also think it's important to keep them separate to some degree. So I would be comfortable with having the balance fall back to 2, but I would not be comfortable with the balance falling to 3 permanently. Thank you.
Thanks for those comments. Council Vice President Forsyth?
Thank you. So you obviously said that you were going to apply in 2020 and then, the world shifted. So I'm interested to hear from your perspective, if you've been watching what has been changing with the LTAC, any insight you have into things that you would love to see happen with the LTAC and ways it could progress forward, what your voice will bring to the table as far as making a change.
Mm-hmm. Just what, as our town is growing into a city, so to speak, I think there are a lot of opportunities. I know a great percentage of the budget for LTAC is in marketing, and I think we have an opportunity to market to our visitors. I don't know that, I think that's an area of opportunity now that doesn't necessarily exist or is maybe difficult for our visitors to find. I think we have an opportunity with those marketing dollars to better market the spaces, our parks and rec. I often, as a hotelier, we get questions from our guests that travel in, where can I go running? Where can I want to go hiking. And so I have a general idea. I'm not personally on the trails all the time, so I have a general idea. I'm pretty sure there's an entrance over here, to the park, but it's not really that clear. I think with the rail coming into Redmond, I think that's another opportunity for marketing that doesn't exist now. And with, I believe is it 50% of the budget for LTAC is marketing? I can't remember. Then I think there's a lot that can be done there.
Great. I appreciate that, especially since we're having our Parks joint meeting following this. So that's something for us to be thinking about with that conversation. So thank you.
Other questions? Councilmember Fields.
Welcome. I'm very happy to have you step up and do this work. And also, I think it's a real benefit with your experience and with the cross membership with the TPA. And I personally think that because we're trying to unfold our future right now, we're at that crossroads. I think getting this foundation right, you can really contribute a lot to the work that we're doing. I'm going to ratchet it up a little bit. You talked about one of the things that makes a city attractive, which I think is good information. People have a sense of where they're at and what opportunities there are for someone who's visiting the city. And I like to do everything in threes for some reason. So can you name 2 other things that we should be thinking about that actually would make Redmond attractive?
So one area of opportunity, I believe, is accessibility to Marymore Park from downtown. So if we often have guests that want to go over to the park, and they're not driving. So how did they get there? Are they walking down the street across? They have to go across 520. So should there not be an overpass walkway where people can stay at hotels and go to a concert and just walk over? And that would help alleviate parking issues that sometimes come at Marymore Park. So that's one opportunity. I think the rail will provide an excellent opportunity for, if we can put some kind of marketing in that area. I don't know exactly we're exploring different things at this point, but so that when visitors get off, they have directionally maybe know where they're going. I think there's an opportunity. I actually was a little surprised to find in the research in the tourism strategic plan that there were areas in Redmond that were very popular but weren't really well known to visitors. And I think one of them was the Farrell McWhirter Park, right? And so that's not something that necessarily at the front desk at my hotel we're talking about. So why are we not talking about it, and what is there to offer? I think education to our frontline staff at hotels is critical. And they need to be able to say, if I don't know how to get on the running trail, they should be able to know, how to get on a running trail. Or they often know the best restaurants or a place to get tea or coffee, but not necessarily, and they can get folks to Marymore Park. But, outside of that, I'm not sure that they're as skilled in what there is to offer in the city.
So what I hear you saying, and I agree, is that Redmond actually has a lot of things that would make it attractive. We just need to let the secrets out.
Yes.
Let other people know, besides those that few that do know. And I agree. I think that Redmond has a lot to offer, and there are a lot of reasons to come here. And hopefully, to your point, the transportation will be a focus of the partnerships involved in making that last mile and synchronize with light rail. So we're thinking about it, and there's a lot of decisions and work to be made. So
Yep.
I appreciate your insight into that. Thank you.
Other questions? Councilmember Nueva Camina?
Thank you. Not a question, just a comment. Thanking you for being willing to step up and having the stick with itness, the persistency to have been interested back in 2020 and to continue on in 2024, given the changes that have happened. And I just admire your commitment to the city, both with how you've already been showing up in community, but your passion moving forward and helping us steward this growth into the next phase. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess I'll jump in. First, a comment about the kind of TPA and LTAC. I think I agree with Councilmember Fields. I actually see the alignment being helpful, especially as we have these two funding sources. And I think I've been wondering, how do we use them to their kind of maximum capacity? So if you can have a view into both of those things, I think that will help as you make decisions in LTAC to know, okay, these things are actually going to be funded by the TPA. So we can invest the LTAC, the unique things that only LTAC can go to these particular things. So anyway, just look forward to actually having that crossover. And to Councilmember Stewart's point, just for the council, I feel like if we wanted to have a conversation overall about how we think about this, I don't think we need to do it in an interview, but I do think we could schedule time, perhaps on a committee meeting, to just discuss LTAC and TPA and how those are evolving. Perhaps have Ms. Ledler come back and be able to share a little bit more about that as kind of a topic for discussion for us to think about. So just wanted to address that. And then I had a question for you, which is the LTAC does a lot to fund community events that bring people to our community. So I'm just curious to hear, what are some of your favorite events that happen in Redmond during the year?
Sure. Well, Derby Days is a big event, and it definitely was for my family, especially when they were younger. And although we have not been participants in the last couple of years, we had a long history, the residents, in being a participant in the parade. And if you ever were at the parade and you saw a group throwing toilet paper rolls, that was us. But that's one event. I've been excited to see some new events. It's the Color Festival, I think. I haven't actually been to that one, but that sounds like it would be fun. And it's been, what's kind of fun is when I'm just driving downtown and going to the grocery store and I see something popped up at that park in the center of Redmond, and there are food trucks around, and there's some kind of cultural celebration going on. So, yeah, those are fun to see. Maybe a few new events, but also the tried and true. Redmond Lights, I think, I have participated in that event. I think there's a lot of opportunity in that event to expand it and to make it attractive to visitors kind of outside the immediate area as well. So,
wonderful, thank you. Any other questions? All right, not seeing any. So assuming there's no objection, we'll be moving you forward to our consent agenda. I'm seeing smiles around here. So I believe that the meeting will be on June 18th. Is that right? Or do we have it scheduled for that? It would be the upcoming business meeting? Great. I'm seeing a yes. So June 18th. And should you want to come in person, then you could be sworn in person, hopefully after our council votes, to confirm you at that meeting. Thank you so much. And that concludes our agenda. This meeting is adjourned.